Well, good afternoon and welcome to San Angelo Live. I'm Yantis Green. It's Wednesday, so we are at the political desk. We are talking to candidates in the runoff elections for the May 24th runoff. And with me today is Lane Carter. Lane, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You are a candidate for Tom Green County Judge.
Yes, sir.
You and Mr. Coles made it through the primary.
We did.
And now we've got about 6 weeks before Election Day. So
We do.
This is one more
Long stretch to go.
stretch of that campaign. Lots of things to talk about
Yes.
today. Lots of issues. First and foremost, it's windy and dry outside,
It is.
and we're under a red flag warning. That's going to affect everybody, and especially county and emergency management. Let's talk about that for a little bit.
Okay. So, as you know, wildcat fires started off in these types of conditions, and we're seeing that today as well up in Ruidoso.
Right.
That was caused by a highline wire falling in 90-mile-an-hour gust winds,
Yeah.
and it caught fire and started burning. We can see that at any time around here, so we have to be careful. That's why we see burn bans being in effect. Trailer chains on the sides of roads can cause it.
Yeah.
Make sure your trailers are strapped properly as you're driving. Cigarette butts, open flames outside, because the last thing we want to see is another wildcat fire happen.
That's right. And the conditions today, it's really windy out there. We've got southwest winds gusting to 30, 35 miles per hour, and it's so dry, and the relative humidity is really way down. That's why we have the red flag
Right.
warning. And they're like you said, there are burn bans all across West Texas.
Right.
And it looks like it's going to be dry. I think this morning I looked, and there's no rain for 10 days. Winds may slack off a bit, but these conditions are going to be here.
They are, and it's a very big concern that we need to be aware of, because that I know all of the emergency services are on alert right now. They know the conditions. They stay on top of that. They know it before it happens, what they have to prepare for, and knowing where to strike first and do preventative measures if a fire does occur. And that's the knowledge base that they have, the training base that they have. We're gracious that we have volunteer fire departments that can take care of this, and our fire departments and forest services that are around this area.
That's right. And the volunteers here have done a really great job so far.
Yes, sir.
We've had some fires, and they've gone through some equipment and some expenses, and fuel's one of them.
Fuel.
The price of gas and diesel is, we were just talking about that a while ago. It's still
extreme.
It's extreme, and it may have gone down a little bit, but still we're talking about almost $4 a gallon.
It's still hurting their budget within what they have to work with. So every time they have to mobilize, they're going through and they're burning diesel, they're burning gas in the engines, and that eats at it. So we have to be aware at the county level of what their needs are.
That's right, and they stand between what could be a potentially dangerous wildfire and the folks in the city.
Loss of assets and loss of lives. That's
Oh,
what we want to prevent.
And we were talking about Ruidoso, and there are several structures, dozens, I think, of structures there that have been burned.
Right.
So we'll look at that update as well. Inflation's another big issue, and of course that's gonna hit the county. They're about to go into the budgeting procedure this summer, but the next county judge is going to see that the impact of that across the spectrum. We were talking about that earlier.
So we'll see, as a county level and also just citizen level, we see it now. If you go to Lowe's to buy lumber, if you're going to build, or if you go to the grocery store to buy cans of beans,
Right.
or produce or anything, you see that already impacting your pocketbook, our pocketbooks. Employees are seeing that. Not only in the county level, but as in the private sector.
Yeah.
So we have to stay on top of that. We have some concerns that budget constraints that we're going to see as the inflation. Luckily, we see sales tax staying right there with it.
Okay.
It's about 8, almost 9%, about the same as the inflationary rate.
Okay.
So
And this week, the Tom Green County got some good news about their budget and about their audit, the external audit. And Nathan Craddock does a really good job
Outstanding.
preparing for that. What did you hear Tuesday at that meeting?
A lot of filings have been determined that they have to show it in certain ways. Over 100 funds, some through are pass-through funds, and a lot of it comes from the federal government, from the state government. How those are shown to the public through for transparency is crucial. So that is one major issue that I saw, and they didn't see that there was any problems with it, which is great. They do an outstanding job. A lot of work goes into this audit that takes 10 to 15 minutes to present, months and weeks worth of work and hours.
The effort to keep the taxpayer dollars money accounted for and well spent, and that outside audit presentation, that what I saw was that the team there is doing a really good job, and they have for years.
We are very blessed to have them.
Good stewards of the taxpayer dollars. We hit on inflation a little bit. There are going to be pressures next year because of inflation. And it's just like at your house when you, as you mentioned, if you go to the grocery store or go to buy clothes for kids or prepare for school, and it's more expensive this year than it was last year, you either cut or you find a new source of revenue.
Right. And we're seeing that as we develop outside into the county, we have more roads to maintain. The oil and the base materials, the fuel to make it happen is only going up. So how is that going to affect your tax dollar? How can we stretch that to the most to their advantage to make the services well worth it? We have to see what revenue streams we have. We can't rely on sales tax because that is very fluid. You never know what kind of economic downturn we might have in the next year. We always trended down at the city. When I was on city council, we trended down to make sure that we weren't going to strap ourselves and come into a pickle. Make sure we're trying to find funds to make it work that next year. So having someone in that spot is going to be very crucial.
That's true, and hopefully the philosophy behind budgeting with sales tax is it's a projection, and you want to kind of project below a little more conservatively than what actually happens, so that you don't budget money that you don't have.
Exactly. So right now our projections on sales tax from March 21 to March 22, you're about 21%. We're at 8, almost 9%. Above it from the reporting filings of this fiscal year since October. So you take a look at that, and you take a look at your ad valorem taxes, you'll see increased in property values multiplied by the tax rate, and you start factoring in, all right, this is our budget for the year. How are we going to divide that up? What services do we need? And hopefully the last thing that I want to do is cut services.
Right.
We don't want to say, all right, hopefully we were going to get 100 miles of road taken care of. Maybe we can only do 90.
Right.
I want to shoot for that 100, but you have to have the knowledge to know what revenue streams are going to make that happen.
Right. There are so many issues we could talk about. Criminal justice is also a big part of what the county does and where most of the money goes. There, because of the pandemic, the judges and the support personnel for a long time, 2 years worth, were doing everything they could remotely, Zoom technology.
Right.
And the Supreme Court sort of makes the rules that the district courts have to follow, and some of those things are going to stick around.
Right. So what I can tell you on that is right now the criminal justice system can have a direct impact on economic development.
Okay.
The court dockets, people wanting to move here, develop here, start their businesses here, they're going to look at what the crime rate looks like, what their justice system is looking, what the faults are, how they can make that better is what we need to focus on. So I can tell you across the board right now, 90 kids are in the juvenile probation system across Texas with capital murder. 90 kids.
Wow.
That's a lot. So when we see the criminal justice going in trends, you see it happen years ago with an increase, and then we had a little downturn, and then it looks like the spikes are coming up.
Okay.
That's only going to affect our budget at the county level drastically. We have to get those court dockets out, placements for these individuals, because that can have a major impact for our citizens here.
It certainly can, and murder cases, especially capital murder cases, can be tremendously expensive. It's hard to nail down an actual cost, but I think a couple of years ago we looked, and it was somewhere above $1 million to start with for a capital murder case. So that puts a tremendous burden on the taxpayer.
Very big burden.
And that's sort of what counties do. We could talk about all kinds of things, but this is the point where I know you're in a campaign, and I know you have some things you want to tell the voters. So I'm going to not ask any questions. I'm just going to say, Lane, this is between you and the voters. There's your camera and your message at this point in the campaign. Tell them what you want to tell them.
Well, I want to tell everybody that it has been a pleasure to run this campaign. It was a pleasure to serve on the San Angelo City Council for 5.5 years with 6 budget cycles, working for the citizens to make this environment a better place for our children to grow up in. And that's why I'm running for Tom Green County Judge. I want to look more into the future to see where we are growing, how we are growing, and what our pressures are going to involve. We have a lot of development and businesses wanting to come in here. That's going to affect population. The more population, it affects the development of housing, which affects our budget at the county level. So you're going to need somebody that has been there with the experience and the qualifications to know how to manage this position. I also have been an RN since 2011, and one sector that can be a very big benefit in is the mental health sector. Like I said, that the criminal justice system has a major impact on economic development. Mental health can be the striking point of where we can help our court dockets out. If we find the resources and we find the help that these patients need, so they do not end up back into the criminal justice system, that can help our taxpayer dollars, and it also helps the outcome of their lives as well. So experience and qualifications is huge. I believe I am the best candidate for that position, for this position, and I would appreciate your vote May 24th. And early voting May 16th through the 20th. If you need any more information from me, my phone number is 325-656-0625. My email is mlctx4@gmail.com. I would be gracious to talk with you, to meet with you, and let you know a little bit more about myself.
Great.
Thank you again for letting me.
There are plenty of opportunities between now and Election Day. You have forums and meetings. It seems like there's something almost on a daily basis for you guys.
Yes.
So there's lots of opportunities for voters to see you and ask you questions, and failing seeing you in person, they can always call you.
Please come to the forums. Get involved.
There you go.
Get involved. That's why I ran for city council. I wanted to get involved and help the citizens get involved as well. I would like to do the same thing at the county judge level.
Yeah, and an involved citizenry always makes for a better society.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Been visiting with Lane Carter. Thank you so much for stopping by. And I'm sure we'll do this again before this is all said and done. Again, Election Day, May 24th. Now, in this judge's race, the winner of this race will go on to the November general election.
Correct.
And there may or may not be an independent candidate there. There's a guy who's sure trying. But the winner in November will be sworn in as the next county judge for Tom Green County on January 1st.
Yes, sir.
So that is the journey from here to there. Again, Lane Carter, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you.
For San Angelo Live, I'm Yantis Green.